Hey yo, what's going on, everybody? Derek here, back, going live. Man, trying to figure out the best way to do this. So you don't gotta look at my popcorn ceiling here, but I think this is gonna have to be it. What's going on? Appreciate anybody hopping in live. I see one person just jumped in. If you're watching this after the fact, I appreciate you too. Saturday today, I'm gonna try to run it up a little bit, separate myself from the competition, get ahead a little bit. If you're just joining for the first time to the channel, watching the video for the first time, again, my name is Derek. I am a real estate wholesaler, specifically a virtual real estate wholesaler. Live in California. I'm sourcing opportunity and closing deals out in Houston, Texas. If Houston is home to you or that is your virtual market as well, please feel free, leave a comment, get in touch. I'd love to link up, do business, network. If this is your first time again, and this is the type of content that you're interested in, wholesale real estate, do me a favor, hit the like, subscribe, notification bell, get notified when I do go live. I try to go live at least once a day, Monday through Friday, as well as Saturdays if I have the time to do so. Hop on and I go live when I make my cold calls, lead follow-ups, documenting any deal that I do have under contract so that you can see the process from beginning to end. So again, if that's the type of content that you're interested in and you're looking for frequent content, again, I do go live at least once a day, Monday through Friday, or I try to. That's the type of stuff you're interested in. Go ahead, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Appreciate you guys. Now today, I'm going to cold call. I'm just trying to get hit my goals for the week. Really, I've generated like 4 quality leads this week, and I'm just trying to stay as consistent as possible. That's really what my main focus is right now. Again, for those who are just joining for the first time, I have closed 2 deals, so I am fairly new to the industry. Closed 2 virtual wholesale deals, and I do not have anything under contract right now. So right now, that's my main focus is just stay consistent, keep making offers, and hope that one of these contracts or one of these leads pops and converts into a contract sooner rather than later. And I know the best way to offset that and to combat that is to stay consistent. Like I was saying, hit the dialer, hit my SMS campaigns, just continue generating leads, continue having quality conversations with people, and continue making offers. That's something that I was proud of myself for this week. I mentioned it probably over the past couple of live sessions here. I've just been really proud of myself that I've been making offers consistently. That was something that I just over the course of my real estate, career. It's been about a year. I've been doing this for about a year, and really only really putting in like I wouldn't even say I'm putting in maximum effort right now, but putting in more effort than usual for like past 6 months. So it's something that I can recollect and like kind of draw upon is the fact that both of those deals happened when I was going hard. I was going hard on the phones and I was making offers. July was probably like the month that I buckled down. I was hitting like 20, 30 contacts a day, probably making 1 to 2 offers a day. And again, I don't think it is any bit of a coincidence that I got one contract. I got one under contract in July, and then I got another one under contract like midway through September. And then that first one closed at the end of September, and that second one closed at the end of October. So it's very easy for me to attribute the success that I had to the amount of time I spent on the phone. So that's what I'm trying my best to do. When I got closed that second deal, I did kind of take a step back, reinvested in the business, set up new processes specifically for the text campaigns, the text marketing, because I did want to kind of maximize the data here. So now I'm both texting my properties and cold calling them. So I've just been kind of refining that process, which has it's an excuse. I'm using it as an excuse. I was gonna say it's taken away from me the time that I am able to hop on the phone, but it really hasn't. So I want to stop making excuses and start just getting to it. So without further ado, now that I've kind of mentioned that, I'm going to go ahead and hop on the dialer here. I'm going to try to the problem that I have had. I have just recently switched dialers from Mojo Dialer over to Call Tools. It was just recommended by my coach. I just joined a coaching program. It was recommended by him, and quite honestly, I don't think that I was necessarily ready. He wasn't recommending it to me personally. He just recommends it to the whole group, which is like I think close to 500 people. So uh, I don't know if I was necessarily ready to make switch to Call Tools. Call Tools is less expensive than Mojo, but it's really built out for somebody who's scaling with a team of cold callers. So, and I say that because in Mojo, you're having to pay per triple line dialer. So at one point in time, I had a partner, and both of us would be calling at the same time. So in order for that to happen, we needed two triple line dialers, which was $160 each. So anytime you wanted, you could share the dialer. So that's what we realized at one point. It's like, well, we don't need two triple line dialers. We just need one, and we can't be calling at the same time. So that's what we started doing. But again, once you start scaling, you don't want to have to worry about that stuff where it's like, okay, you're calling from this time to this time, and then you're calling from this time to this time. It's like you just want them, you want to have them have the ability to hop on the dialer and call for 4 or 8 hours, depending on if they're part time or full time. But with call tools, it doesn't cost any more money. You can add an unlimited amount of agents as long as you have the data in there to support those efforts. So again, that's I think the real benefit in call tools, and you're able to add more than 3 lines. So right now I'm calling off of 5 lines. Um, but yeah, a couple other things, here and there that I'm still kind of nitpicking at right now. And the reason I went on this little rant is I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I've been calling using my headset, switching over to call tools because that's what it. I was going to say calls for, but if I'm hoping that doesn't go over anybody's heads because the word call, but that's what it calls for. Is the system calls for a USB headset. So I have it's Bluetooth, but it is hooked up here to my USB. I just am not sure if I'm able to. Let me take a step back. So since I've been doing that, you guys, the viewers, have not been able to hear what the sellers are saying on the other end of the phone. You've only been hearing me kind of respond and kind of have a conversation with myself, essentially. Um, so I'm going to try today for the first time to see if it will come through the speakers. Um, if it does, then that's cool. I will continue doing it this way when it's appropriate. Like right now, I have the place to myself, so it's kind of appropriate. My girlfriend is usually working in the other room, so it's not necessarily appropriate at those times. But I'm gonna try. I'm gonna join right now and see if it comes to the speakers. That'd be cool if it did. If it doesn't, I know I've been saying this for a while, but I'm really trying to. I need to look into resolving that, figure out a way where maybe I hook up an external speaker so that you guys can hear what I'm saying, and then I can still talk through my headset so I don't sacrifice. The only reason I haven't been doing this, or at least giving it a try, is because I know that I'm sacrificing sound quality. Um, these were not cheap by any means, and the sound quality is superb. So, um, just wanting to get use out of it since I spent money on it. So I'm thinking maybe I can get an external speaker so where I can hook up the output, go to my preferences and say the sound output through the external speaker so that you can hear what they're saying, and then hook up the input to my headset so that when I'm talking, it's going through the microphone. So I'm not sacrificing that sound quality on the other end. These are some older lists, the ones that I'm calling through right now. These were recycled. I brought them over from Mojo Dialer when I switched dialers, uh, just so that I didn't waste data. I will forever. That's another thing that I think I've heard the pros say. It's like you never get rid of records. You never delete properties. If I'm going to pay to get it skip traced, I'm going to forever hold on to it and likely forever contact them until they tell me, take me off your list, stop calling, I'm going to sue you, that type of stuff. Um, I haven't personally gone hard on that where it's like I'm following up with people who have said no to me. I don't think I've ever called through my not interested list, but at one point I will. Um, once I feel like it's worth my time. Right now, you know, once I build out a team and I have callers where I can just like delegate that, like, hey, tomorrow I want you to just call through the not interested list. I guess I technically could do that, but I think it's better use of my time to be calling new properties than to go through my not interested list. And then once I build up a good enough pipeline where I feel like it's worth my time to call through that list, I will. And I mentioned that these are old lists because I'm really not getting any traction right now. But again, very old list. Not very old, but it's an older list. And I've already called through it multiple times. I'm just now that I've got it into my call tools, I can up the number of lines. So I'm calling off of 5 lines. So I'm just able to kind of like burn through this quickly. So I think I have my dial time, my outgoing dial time to like.
Bueno.
Hey, Mr. Herrera.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going? This is Derek. I know it's a bit random, but I was calling about a property I believe you own on Dallas Street.
Oh, no.
Do I have the right number here? I hate when people do that. So that was the guy. He says, "Oh no," when I bring up the address. I consider that not interested. I'm going to mark it as a contact. On to the next. Hopefully that makes sense. I feel like I'm always, that's like my biggest pet peeve. I would so much rather them say, "Oh yeah, I own that property, but I'm not interested." Right? Because I'm trying to get 3 things out of the way. Hey, Maria.
Hello.
Maria, how's it going? This is Derek. Sorry, I know this is a bit random, but I was calling about a property I believe you own on Logandale Lane.
I think you got the wrong number.
Oh.
I don't own that property.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry about that. What was I just? Oh, I'm trying to figure out 3 things. 1, if it is the person who I'm looking for, right? So I lead with the first name, like I just did. I think that may have just been a coincidence that I was looking for a Maria and got a hold of a Maria. That happens. Second thing. Hello?
Yes?
Hi, is this Miss Grimaldo?
See?
Hey, how's it going? This is Derek. Sorry, I know this is a bit random, but I was calling about a property I believe you own on Bedford Street. Hang up. Same thing. I'm going to mark it not interested, and I'm going to mark that as a contact. Because, again, so the 3 things. Am I talking to the person I'm wanting to talk with? Number 2, do they, in fact, own that property that I'm calling about? And then number 3, are they interested in selling, yes or no? So you'll hear me. I haven't gotten to that third part in my initial pitch, but that's where I pause in my initial pitch. So I say, "Hey, first name." Depending on how they respond, that's giving me confirmation or not that it's the person I'm looking for. This is Miss Grimaldo. Oh, okay. This is Derek. Sorry, this is a bit random. I was calling about this property that I believe you own on this street. Then they're going to confirm or deny. Yes or no, I don't own that property. Yes, I do own that property. What are you calling about? Yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick call, see if you would ever consider an offer on your property there. Yes or no. Sometimes they will respond to your third question without you even asking on your second question, which happens probably 9 times out of 10 when they are not interested in selling because they've already been contacted before. They'll say, "Yeah, I own that property, but it's not for sale." Cool. That saved me time. You know what I mean? I appreciate that. But what I hate and my pet peeve with that other person, what a couple of people have done now, is confirm that it is the person I'm looking for. And then when I ask about the property, they either hang up or they say no to it's not even a question, but if it were a question, it's not a yes or no question. The way that I phrase it and the inflection in my voice, the tone of my voice, I intentionally have it come across as a question. So I'll say, "Hey, sorry, I know it's a bit random, but I was calling about a property that I believe you own on this street." And it's almost like kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's like it just gives off the impression that it's an actual question, and then you have on the other end an urge to answer as if it were a question. So they'll say yes or no to that, even though you're not actually asking a question. So I guess that kind of defeats the purpose of what I was just saying, because if he says no to, hey, I was calling about a property, I mean, I know you're gonna have to use context clues as well, right? So if I say, hey, I was calling about a property, yada yada, that I believe you own, and they say, oh no, and they hang up, I take that as a contact, especially if I get confirmation that it is the person that I'm looking for, right? That's really what matters. Is if I ask for you because your name is attached to the property, it is you, and then I bring up the property and then you hang up, I'm gonna take that as a you're not interested. So I kind of just blew through that list right there. I'm gonna call through this list now. So I'm glad this works though. I can speak with him like this. So that's cool. That's gonna make for better content. Just want to try to generate. Hello?
Hello?
Hey, it's Mr. Pamela?
I'm sorry?
Hi there. I'm sorry. I'm not sure if I have the right number, but I'm hoping you can help me out. I was looking for the owner of a property on South Shore Drive in Conroe.
Yes, you have them.
Okay, yeah, my name is Derek. No, it's a bit random. I just wanted to give you a quick call and wanted to see if you'd ever consider an offer on your property there. You ever considered selling?
Who are the red ones?
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry. Who was? Well, at this particular point in time, no.
Okay.
We're not. We're getting close to selling it, but not towards it'll be next year, maybe the first part of the next year.
Okay.
You know, and if you would, I tell you what. I'm not at my desk right now, but I do happen to have a pen.
Okay.
Let me write this down. Okay. Now, what is your name again, sir?
My name is Derek. Derek.
Okay, Derek, and your phone number?
Yeah. Let me give you my direct line. It's 832.
One.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
got it.
we've been discussing it, and matter of fact, we're in Houston. We own the property in Conroe, but we're getting ready to move ourselves to another home.
Okay.
And I think that we're once we get this move done, we should be through by the 1st of January. I think we're in the probably in that area where we might just go ahead and sell the property, but for right now, we're not even quite thinking about it until the first of the year.
Sure. Okay. So when would you say is a kind of a more appropriate time for me to follow up around that, first couple weeks of the year?
Well, I would say somewhere towards the latter part of January that would work, Derek.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. And what your first name now?
My first name is Louis, Louis,
Okay.
and last name is Storms, Storms.
Gotcha. All right. I got you down here, and I'll be sure to give you a ring around that time.
Thank you, Derek.
All right. Thanks for taking the call.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Boom. Hella easy. Come on, y'all. Not like that was a contract or anything, but shoot, it's gonna be a contract. Usually, I would try to keep him on the phone and dig a little deeper. I know that that's probably recommended, but it sounded like maybe he was driving, or although he did have a pen and paper, I don't know what he was doing. He just sounded like he was in the middle of something. I'm not using that as an excuse as to why I didn't dig deeper in that phone call. If you watch my recent videos, I'm trying to be very cognizant. I'm trying to be very aware of. I'm trying to read the conversation more. Um, Over the past few days, I've been taking note of the fact that I get overly excited when I do get a yes, or when somebody hops on the phone and they are willing to talk to me. I've been re-listening to because I record my calls. I've been re-listening to those calls, and I can hear it in my tone. Like I get overly excited, and it ends up pushing them away. So right then, he told me he's not interested right now. Call him towards the later end of January. I'm probably going to call him towards the beginning of January, just in case somebody else tries to get a hold of him and does dig deeper and does have that conversation, right? but he just wasn't ready to have it right now. So I wasn't going to force him to have it. One, it turns him off, which is the point of everything that I just said and the point of what I've been realizing about myself and what I'm trying to work on. I'm just trying my very best to not turn anybody off as a result of my overexcitement. And two, one, he's gonna get turned off because I'm pushing, and two, he's not gonna sell now anyways. What I've been kind of pitching is, well, if you're ready to sell at the end of January, we can put an agreement in place now, but that just again is just gonna turn him off. I'd much rather just catch him. It's all about timing. I'd much rather just catch him when he's telling me I will probably want to sell around that time. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna take note of it, create a little note, connected with Lewis. The first name here was Storms and the last name was Pamela. And I asked for Mr. Pamela because it didn't Storms. I don't know. I knew there was something funky. And then I quickly switched to how I went for it, which is how I will go for it. If something like that pops up or I can't pronounce the name or anything like that, I'll say, yeah, I'm not quite sure if I have the right number here. I'm hoping that you can help me out. Looking for the owner of a property on this street here. And then he was very willing to say, yeah, you got him. You got him on the phone. What's up? Probably because he's thought about selling. You know what I mean? Which is why he was like, yeah, what's going on? If they have been getting phone calls and they're irritated the fact that you're asking, they'll say, yeah, I own that property. I'm not interested. You know what I mean? So right out of the gate, when he was like, yeah, you got me. What's going on? I knew it was like going to be at least a little bit of a conversation that was getting ready to be had. So that's how I'll frame it. If I either can't pronounce the first name, or sorry, if I can't pronounce, first step, I always try to go for the first name. If I can't pronounce the first name, I'll ask for either Mr. or Mrs. last name. If I can't pronounce the last name, I will frame it the way that I just did, and I'll say, hey, I'm not sure if I have the right number here. Hoping that you can help me out, though. I'm looking for the owner of a property on this street. And then they'll say yes or no. And that's kind of just, again, with those three things that I'm looking to get right in the beginning of the conversation, it kind of kills two birds with one stone. Although I don't get their name, I confirm that it is the person that I'm looking for because they've confirmed that they own that property. And now all I have to do is see if they're willing to take an offer or receive an offer on that property. So then he says, yeah, you got him. What's going on? And I say, yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick call and wanted to see if you'd ever consider an offer on your property there. I will also do it that way, meaning not address them by their first or last name. Obviously, if it's in a state. So if it pops up as a state of whoever, even if it's like a state of like Joe Blow, I will not ask for Mr. or Mrs. Blow because I think I've done that in the past. And what happens is a lot of times that name on the estate or that on that property is from the deceased. Not always. I mean, I would almost imagine that it's not nearly even like half the time, but I have run into situations where I ask for the owner of the estate. I don't say the owner of the estate, but I use the name in that whoever has taken title to it. Again, if it's a state of Joe Blow, I'll say, hey, is this Mr. Blow? And they'll say, no, that's my dead father. You know what I mean? So that's happened a few times to me. So I've kind of just avoided the names or the estates. If it isn't an estate, if it's in an LLC, if it's in anything other than a personal name, I will go automatically to, hey, I'm not sure if I have the right number here, but you know what I mean? So connected with Lewis, said, I'm assuming him and his wife said they have thought about selling. They live in Houston and are considering moving themselves elsewhere. So when that happens, they would likely sell the place in Conroe as well. Lewis took down Derek's name and direct Google Voice number and asked for a call back toward the end of January. Save that. I'm going to mark him as a follow up. Not going to consider him a lead. Only going to consider him a lead once I pre-qualify him on the condition of the place, what his expectations are of price. I know his motivation, and really, I already know his timeline as well. So this is the way that me and my partner used to do it. We mark them three categories if there's somebody that we're going to follow up with, either a follow up, a warm lead, or a hot lead. Follow up is 2 or less of the 4 pre-qualifying pillars: condition, motivation, timeline, price. Rather, condition, timeline, motivation, price, in that order. If we get the answers to 2 or less, meaning, like in this case, I know his motivation. His motivation is the fact that him and what sounds like his wife are going to move their primary residence. So when they do that, they're wanting to sell their absentee owned property as well. So that's their motivation. They don't want to have to move and then deal with their second property. When they sell their primary residence and move, they want to also sell their second property. So that's his motivation, and I know his timeline. He's going to want to sell closer to the beginning of next year. So the fact that I don't know anything about the condition and I don't know anything about the price, I'm going to mark him as a follow up. Had he told me, when we do sell, we're thinking about maybe selling it for this price, right? As long as that's like reasonable, really like zestimate or lower, then I'm considering that a warm lead. But if he tells me a price and it's like absurd, I'm not going to follow up with him at all. You know what I mean? Or maybe I will follow up with him, but just way less periodically than I would had he given me a more reasonable number. And then the fourth one, condition, the condition of the property. I didn't know anything about the condition. I don't know anything about the price. Had I dug a little deeper and kind of figured out what the condition of the place was, and then not learned about the price, I would mark him as a warm lead. Had I gotten all 4 and it just wasn't the right time for him right now to put it under contract, I'm marking that as a hot lead. As long as he wants to sell in 60 days or less. So in his case, it sounds like he does. It's right, probably beyond the 60-day mark. But I probably would have still marked him as a hot lead had he given me a reasonable price and it was a good fit, right? It's only going to be a good fit if one of two things: the condition is poor enough and he knows that it needs to go to a cash investor, or 2, regardless of the condition, he is asking such a reasonable price that it would make sense for any investor. So in his case, again, gonna mark him as a follow up. Gonna mark a calendar event to pre-qualify condition and going to call him like second week of January. He told me towards the end of January. Really, I should be calling him back. Yeah, okay. I'm not. I'm gonna stick to my guns. What you really should be doing is cutting that time in half. As long as it's beyond like 1 month, cut the time in half. So he's asking me to call him in like 2.5 months. He's asking me to call him in like 2.5 months. I'll call him in like. No, I mean I'm gonna. I'll call him in like the first week of January. I just don't want to like. Again, once it's so close, like he's essentially telling me, give me a call in 8 weeks. I could call him in 4. What I'm going to do is give him a call in like 5 or 6. I just don't want to be calling him like right around Christmas time because it's very evident that he's not going to sell until next year. I just want to be there right when he makes that decision. Maybe I'll text him. That's a good idea. That's literally an idea that I just had right now. That I want to start implementing. I think what I can do so that it's not so invasive, like, hey, you told me to call you in 2 months and now I'm calling you in 1, what's up? Maybe I can just shoot him a quick text. Hey, I know you told me that you're not interested, until like the end of January. Just wanting to give you a shout, reach out, reconnect, revisit that conversation just in case anything pops up in the meantime, or, your timeline is shortened for whatever reason. You know what I mean? I think that's a good idea. something that I can start doing. Just gonna say text to reconnect. Hey, what's going on, Lewis? This is Derek. We talked a couple weeks back about your property there out in Conroe. Uh, I know you said you weren't ready till sounds like maybe the end of January, early February. Just wanted to reach out. I didn't want to be a bother to you. Just wanted to kind of make sure that you had my number and uh, that we're ready to buy whenever you're ready to sell. So if anything pops up before I reach back out towards the end of January, please feel free to round back, and I'll kind of shoot him that text right before Christmas, kind of that week, um, like the 21st of December. Text to reconnect. Wish him a happy holidays as well. Kind of corny, but that's the stuff that's gonna make the difference. That was a good one. Not considering that a lead though, so I want one more lead before the end of the day. Right back. Something else that I've found too is people are saying this. All the gurus are saying this as of lately. That right now, actually, I mean, I think I just heard Keith Everett say this yesterday on his Instagram. When somebody asked about this time of the year, he says it's perfect because people don't bullshit. Um, they either want to sell quick before Christmas, before Thanksgiving, before the holiday season, or they're not going to sell until next year. And they'll be very honest about that and they'll tell you which one they want. You know what I mean? And I have found that to be the case. Almost everybody that I've connected with in the past week or so has said it, or rather, everybody who has told me that they are interested in the past week or so has also let me know that they're not wanting to make a decision, or rather, they're not wanting to move forward with anything until next year. So that's kind of what I'm finding. I guess I've been unlucky that I haven't come across somebody who's wanting to sell before the holiday season. I keep picking at my beard. I got this. You see this little shit right here? It's like you ever seen a Zoolander? Feel like Will Ferrell's character with this shit. Feel me? Ooh, it's that new shit. Ooh wee, it's that new. No, but really that shit pisses me off. I'm gonna have to shit. I like to keep this long so it hangs, but once it gets too long, they start turning off in different directions, and I hate it when it goes like that. So I'm always constantly pulling towards the middle right here. Anyways, shit, you don't care about my beard. Or maybe you do. Maybe you watch this like, damn, Derek's beard is fucked up. Let me hop back on here. Probably just call through the end of this list. There's about 160 left. I call 5 lines at a time right now. What else? 5 lines at a time. Outgoing ring time is like 30 seconds. So I'm calling like, hello?
Hello.
Hi, is this Miss Matthias?
Yes.
Hey, how's it going? This is Derek. Sorry, I know this is a bit random, but I was calling about a property I believe you own on Merkle Drive.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick call and wanted to see if you'd ever consider an offer on your property there. You ever considered selling?
No, sir. My daughter daughter is going to move into that house shortly.
Okay. All right. Completely understand. Well, while I have you, would you maybe happen to have any other property or possibly like a piece of land that you'd be interested in selling at the moment?
No, I do have another home, but I'm living in it. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And I imagine your daughter there does she have a place to sell when she ends up moving into this place here or no?
So she lives in an apartment in the movement, so she's just going to move to the bird.
Gotcha, gotcha. All right. Well, if anything ever changes, please feel free to save my number and reach back out. But I appreciate you taking the call.
Yes, sir. Thank
All right, have a good one. So that was me digging deep. This is one where I possibly could round back to see if the daughter actually is moving in, but I don't see why she wouldn't. That's why I wanted to dig a little deeper on her situation. Like, is she selling her place to move into this place? But what it sounds like is probably she's moving into this place so that she doesn't have that makes sense. You know what I mean? Paying rent, she's leasing an apartment, is what she said. And now she's moving into the family house that if they do charge her, they'll probably be charging her way less than what she's been paying rent. Um, so back to my math. Five dials per 30 seconds, 10 properties, or not 10 properties, but 10 calls a minute. Um, on average, about 2 to 3 or phone numbers per property. So what is that? Like probably like 4 properties a minute is what I'm dialing through. Probably right around there. Hey, Carol.
Yeah.
Carol, how's it going? This is Derek. Sorry, I know this is a bit random, but I was calling about a property I believe you own on Fire Tower Road.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick call and wanted to see if you'd ever consider an offer on your property there. You ever considered selling?
Uh, I really haven't talked to the guy that's working on it. I don't know. I haven't talked to him, and I'll talk to him this week.
Okay, you got a contractor doing some repairs or something?
No, no, no. I've got someone that's thinking of buying a few acres of the
Oh,
property.
oh, okay, okay. So it's a buyer is what it sounds like.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay, and the property itself sits on a few acres.
Well, almost 4 acres.
Okay, okay, all right, and I'm just want to make sure that I'm understanding correctly. So you're in conversation with another buyer who's taking a look at the property and thinking about making you an offer.
Right,
Okay,
right.
all right. Well, I'd love to kind of be in a contender in this if you're willing to allow me to.
You buy looking for acreage?
Possibly, if it makes sense. As long as there is
He's
opportunity.
only buying an acre and a half,
Oh, okay.
so that the house will still sit with a couple acres. See,
Okay. Okay.
when we sell that.
Yeah. So he's not buying the acres with the house on top of it. He's buying.
Right now, he just because he lives out there,
Okay. Okay.
and his acreage runs into this acreage. Okay,
Gotcha.
so he's wanting to buy about an acre and a half to make his bigger, and then later on, he's hoping to buy the house. But
Ah. Okay. Okay.
someday, I mean, but it's all, it's not. it's and so we're giving him first dibbies
Yeah.
because
Yeah. That
yeah,
makes.
I mean it's only fair.
Yeah, that makes sense. I always recommend that too. Selling to the neighbor is probably the best bet. To be quite honest, it's the easiest. They're right there. You know them. So I completely understand. In terms of selling the property, the house
So
itself.
I think they settled on 150,000
For what now?
for the acre and a half.
Oh, okay, okay. What's your kind of timeline looking
See,
like?
all his land there, which all around when there was a hurricane, I would go there and stay there.
Mm,
He is dry, okay?
right.
He sits on dry land. Well, I will guarantee you, when I was there, if you got off of that land, everything is pretty wet around there. I
Gotcha.
mean, wet, wet.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Huh?
I said, yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, why his, uh, I mean, he knew when he bought it that it was, and it's always been for all these years. It is.
Right.
In fact, our insurance company stopped the flood insurance on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we
Huh.
don't even have to pay that
Okay.
because of that.
That makes sense.
See,
All
the
right.
house stands up high anyhow.
Yeah,
It's up,
yeah.
but the land is what I mean, you can park your car and not flood out,
Yeah.
which is better than Galveston, where I come from. So
Gotcha.
I tend to go there, and he has a real good water well also.
Gotcha.
Real good water, man. It's
All right.
wonderful. It's pure as it's just so clear. So I mean, there's a lot of pluses, a lot of minuses.
Yeah.
Needs lots of work.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what we're looking for, really, to be quite honest. We're looking for something that needs some work so that we can kind of go in there, do the repairs ourselves. I was gonna ask, I know you mentioned that he was kind of gonna, buy that acre and a half before uh, acquiring some more and kind of working his way up to getting the acreage that the house sits on. Does that kind of
Right.
match your timeline, or do you have a timeline expectation of when you'd like to sell
Well,
the property?
it is normal. In a normal time, we probably would, but if he leaves, where's he go?
Yeah, yeah.
What can he buy?
Yeah, you hear that.
Everything is 10 times more. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So what can he buy even better than what he's sitting on? At least he's sitting on dry land.
Right.
So,
That's
and
yeah,
he's
yeah.
got a wonderful well. So, I mean, where's he going to go?
Yeah.
That's where actually, he'd like a smaller place and go somewhere. So he was only looking for, maybe a 2 bedroom and, just a small place, one
Yeah.
story, nothing. Well, hell, they're they're so expensive, and on top of that, they need even as as much work as his
Yeah,
needs.
yeah, right. Yeah, so you
Yeah,
might
the
as well
whole
stay
world
put.
has changed,
I hear that. That's for
because
sure.
he's in a position where he would love to have a small house,
Right.
really.
Yeah.
But
As I'm sure a bunch of people would nowadays, like you're saying, it's
yeah, but
anything you can get.
well, and age and everything else. But I mean, it's just a matter of it's a matter of where can he go,
Yeah, yeah,
and at least now, uh, he knows what he's got.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, and the reason I ask about your timeline is I hear what you're saying about giving him, first dibs and really, giving him that opportunity first, and I completely understand that. I just want to make sure that uh, I guess the best way to say it is you're not relying on him to buy that house there if you're wanting to sell it sooner than he's wanting to buy it.
Oh well, I mean, if we get to that point, or different things
Yeah,
run
yeah,
different ways, but uh, and actually, if if it goes, if he buys the land and he's on a 5 year note,
hmm,
okay, so that way Kirk will have an income coming in every month, and
yeah,
then he can start doing things at the house.
yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I
So,
mean, he's
when would you say, I guess, is a more appropriate time? Because I'd love to stay in touch. I just want to make sure that you're at least taken care of, like I was mentioning. I would hate for
you
you.
can stay in touch. That's
Okay,
fine.
perfect. Yeah. When did you say is like a more appropriate time? Because I'd love to revisit the conversation maybe after he has purchased that acre and a half, and maybe you and him know kind of a better
Well,
timeline on
probably
when he.
by next year. What are we in? We got Thanksgiving comes in there, and Christmas comes in there, and all
Yeah.
that stuff. I'd say after in in the first of the year,
Sure,
we should
sure.
know something.
Okay, so that's what I'll do. Again, my
And
name.
I could tell you something for sure, because if he hasn't done anything by then, or we haven't closed by then, or whatever, then it might be another new, different
Yeah, you
situation.
start exploring your options at that point.
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Perfect. Well, again, my name is Derek. I'll lock you in here, and please feel free to save my number. If anything does come up in the meantime, before I reach back out, feel free to give me a call. But
Okay.
if I don't hear from you, I'll give you a shout. Closer to the beginning of next year.
Yeah, please do.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay,
I
bye.
appreciate you taking the call.
Bye.
Bye now. All right. That was another one. I was really honestly wanting to get off the phone with her much earlier than we did. Right out of the gate, I knew that she wasn't ready to sell, and that she was really just kind of looking for somebody to talk to, which is cool. But the area, this is like honestly something that I wouldn't even really want to mess around with. She said the place sits on like 4 acres or something like that. I'm looking right now on PropStream. Lot size is 152,000 square feet. I'm really used to like 6 or 7,000. Not to say that this isn't a play though. I just don't know if it's going to be attractive to an investor because of the location. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. Um, but you heard the next door neighbor wants to buy some. I think they're going to run into issues, which is why I positioned myself for the follow up. I think they're going to run into issues because they're going to need to subdivide the land. She has 4 acres, but he's only wanting to buy an acre and a half. So that's a process. You can't just like draw a line with a marker and buy what he wants. He needs to go through the process of actually subdividing the land and subdividing the lots. So I think that it's going to be a lot harder than they expect. So,
You been fed?
no, he is not.
Have you taken lots of food yet?
I have not. Getting ready to do that momentarily.
Oh my gosh, you're on the video.
It's okay. What are you gonna say?
Wanna go to my parents together?
Yeah, I'm done. You gonna go like shortly?
30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Try to eat it now.
Yeah. So that was again one good conversation. Good lady, nice woman, but also somebody who I'm wanting to follow up with. Again, just to kind of reiterate what I just said, I think that her and her neighbor are going to run into more problems than they expect. Again, she owns like her house, the house that I'm calling on sits on like 4 acres. And she's saying that her neighbor, she's giving first dibs to, and her neighbor wants to buy an acre and a half. What I just mentioned was that I don't think that I don't even know personally. I don't know the process, but I know it's not as simple as just saying, all right, I'm going to buy this right here, this acre and a half. That's what I want. It's like, it's not that simple. You got to subdivide the land, you got to parse out the lots, and then you're going to say, okay, I'm going to buy, subsection 26 of the city of Conroe, block 15, lot 32, 33, 34, and 35 that totals an acre and a half. You know what I mean? So that's why I really tried to, she and I find this as well, she is doing too much for him to give him first dibs. That's why I was trying to say, I understand that you're wanting to give him first dibs, you're wanting to give him that first opportunity, but what's your timeline like? You know what I mean? You're saying that he only wants to buy an acre and a half and then maybe buy a little bit more of the land and then work his way up to buying that house that you own on the property. Is that what you want? Or do you want to sell that property? And I feel like I was able to do that successfully because towards the end of the conversation, she mentioned, yeah, please do stay in contact with me. If we don't end up closing or we don't end up putting something together by either the end of the year or early next year, I'm gonna start exploring my options, right? And I'm proud of myself for intervening the way that I did by saying, look, that's cool that he wants to do this, that, and the third, but what do you want? Do you want to sell? do you want to sell that house, or or do you not care and you're just willing to work off of his timeline because you really don't want to sell, right? And if that's the case, then I don't really want to stay in contact with her anyways because she's not motivated. You know what I mean? But towards the end of the conversation, it sounded like she maybe is motivated for whatever reason, um, but that she has. Thanks, man. Glad you heard that. I will always love dogs. Nice conversation. Thanks. Yeah, it was a casual conversation. It didn't really evolve into anything other than me. Again, I'm proud of the fact that I intervened the way that I did. Because had it not been that, she may if nobody again, this goes back to the conversation of you got to be willing to lose the deal, right? Please, by all means, sell it to your neighbor. That's going to be the easiest if your neighbor is serious about buying. You know how many times I get on the phone with people, oh, we're selling to the neighbors. Oh, the neighbors are going to buy it. They don't buy it. They just see that you want to sell it and they say, oh, I would love to have more land right next to my property. Who doesn't want that? You know what I mean? Who doesn't want to buy the lot of land right next to their house so that they just have more land? Everybody's going to say that they want that, but it's one thing to say it and another thing to have cash on hand ready to buy it. That's why I wanted to, again, I know I've said this a couple times over the past few minutes, but trying to find her motivation. Exactly. I will always love dogs. I really don't know what it is other than she wants to sell that land. But what I do know is that she does have some sort of a timeline. Obviously, she was not motivated next. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I thought it was going to be in the beginning of the conversation was she, oh, yeah, this neighbor, this, that, and the third. And I at least wanted to get her timeline. Like, what happens if you don't sell to your neighbor? Well, if I don't sell to my neighbor, I'm going to start taking other offers. Cool. When are you going to start taking other offers? How much time are you going to give your neighbor? 2 months? I'm going to call you in 2 months. You know what I mean? Boom, boom, boom. Take note here. House sits on multiple acres. Neighbor has expressed interest in buying 1.5 acres. Carol asked that Derek follow up with her in the beginning of next year in case her neighbor hasn't moved forward. Follow up contact made. Next, as I will always love dogs says. Next, I like dialing on Saturdays. Trying to I need to revisit some of my openers or my responses to possible responses to my opener. If that makes sense. If you follow Brent Daniels, anybody who discusses the TTP method or whatever, they're always mentioning the fact that there's only 6 responses that they can give you. Yes, when you ask if you would ever consider an offer on your property. Yes, no, how much? Yeah, maybe in the future. Not right now. Who are you or where did you get my number? So as long as you have responses kind of templated out, ready to spew off when they say one of those things, you're golden, and that's just the perfect transition into the rest of the script, right? Being able to answer, how much, being able to answer that and transition into asking pre-qualifying questions on the condition or whatever the case may be. I just feel like I'm kind of I'm lacking in a few of the responses. I honestly don't even operate off my script anymore. I've just been kind of freestyling it, which I want to. Hey, Jeremy?
Yes?
Jeremy, how's it going? This is Derek. Sorry, I know this is a bit random, but I was calling about a property I believe you own on Panorama Drive.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick call and wanted to see if you'd ever consider an offer on your property there. You ever considered selling?
Not at this time. Thank you, though.
Okay, I appreciate you taking the call. He hung up with the quickness. Hey, Harriet?
Hello? Hello?
Harriet, how's it going? This is Derek. Sorry, I know this is a bit random, but I was calling about a property I believe you own on Glenloke Drive.
Yes, I'm not interested. Thank you so much.
Thank you for taking the call. Have a good one. Again, I pick my pitches. I pick my spots where I'm going to dig deeper, ask if they have any other property. If they're going to kind of shut me down completely right in the beginning, like that woman did, or like the guy before her did, I'm not going to bother. Only when they're like, no, no, we're not going to sell right now. It's just, you can pick up on the fact of when they're reaching. Hello?
Hello?
Hey, is Mr. Dublin?
I'm calling?
Yeah, this is Derek. Sorry, I know this is a bit random, but I was calling about a property I believe you own on Booker T. Washington Street.
Oh yeah, we're not in the market of selling right now.
Oh, okay. Completely understand. While I have you, would you happen to have any others you might be considered selling at the moment?
No, not at this moment, but keep us in mind though.
Yeah, we'll do. When's kind of a more appropriate time to follow up with you?
Maybe the first of the year.
Okay, we'll do. I appreciate you taking the call.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye now.
Bye.
It's another one. Could have dug deeper, but he's not ready. But I will follow up with him, as he mentioned. I can see that he owns the two properties right next to each other on that same street. So, or rather, they're probably right across the street from each other. So that's why I was very comfortable asking if he had any others as well, because I can see that he has at least another one that he lives in. So, not interested in selling right now. Gave Derek permission to follow up the first of the year. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I don't think I set a follow up for that last one. So I just take note of that so I can go back and find her and set myself a follow up task so it doesn't slip through the cracks. Name. Follow up. Wasn't ready. Oh, I already said that in the other notes. Call back. I'm going to give him a call. When do you think I'm gonna give him a call? The first of the year, like he said, which falls on a Saturday. Again, had it been like a little bit somewhere beyond that, I'm going to cut that in half. So if he was like, call me in March, I would call him in January. If he was like, call me summer next year, I'm going to call him probably February or March. But in this case, it's like he's pretty much saying, give me a call in 6 weeks. I could give him a call in 3 weeks, but again, like I mentioned earlier, at this point, everybody's pretty much at the understanding that if I'm not ready to sell right now, I'm not going to sell until next year. Which CRM do you use? I don't actually. Excuse me. When I used Mojo Dialer on my last dialer, I used that as my CRM because it allowed me to do everything, right? I want to answer this question appropriately because it depends on what you are wanting to use the CRM for. Because CRMs can be as robust as you want them to be, or they can just be a simple calendar to follow up with people, right? So it depends on what you're looking for. For me, that's all I'm looking for. I just want the ability to leave notes on the property and to set myself follow up tasks so that I can pull the calendar up on any given day and see who I have set myself a task to call, and maybe any past due tasks that I ended up missing or whatever. That's all I need. So Mojo Dialer, I was able to do that. Again, it has everything that I wanted. The ability to tag, place tags on properties, to place them into certain groups like follow up, warm lead, hot lead, um, and then the ability to set follow up tasks for yourself so that when you do revisit the calendar, you don't have to be like remembering, right? Like, oh, I told that person I was going to follow up with them on the first. So right now, I have run into a little bit of difficult. It's not even difficulties. It's just a little bit more work for myself because now I have switched dialers, but I not only have switched dialers. That's not an issue because Call Tools has the same functions as Mojo as far as the CRM goes. It has the ability to set tags, place them in groups, set follow up tasks for yourself. Um, but the opportunity that I see where I can make improvements on is the fact that now that I have my texting platform, um, any leads or follow up conversations that I'm generating through my texting platform, I also am setting myself follow ups on the texting platform. So, like yesterday, when I went to go follow up with all of my old leads or just the follow ups that I have, uh, I first went to my texting platform and was like, okay, I can call through these people. And then I had to switch gears and then go to my dialer and be like, okay, these are people. So they're in kind of two separate spots right now for myself, just depending on where I generated that lead. If I generated that lead through text, I'm going to set my follow up reminders through my texting platform and then, um, vice versa on the dialer. And I just have to make sure that I approach and attack both of them when I go to follow up with my leads and not forget about the leads that I generated through text or about the leads that I generated through my dialer. So to answer, that was a very long-winded answer to your question. To answer your question, which CRM do you use? I do not use a CRM. I just use my dialer and my texting platform. Again, really depends on what you're looking for, but that's all I need. So I leave it at that. Um, yep. See how many. Try to get one more contact here. But don't get me wrong. Getting a robust CRM is something that I'm excited for. I just don't need it right now. So I'm not really wanting to waste my time trying to build one out if I'm not going to even use all of the functions that comes with it and really maximize on everything that it's capable of. I think that's what it comes down to with anything that you're going to implement into your business. Are you just doing it because you think it's the next best thing, or you think that, you know what I mean? It just kind of falls under that same umbrella of shiny object syndrome. You don't really need a CRM. You don't really need a dialer. You don't really need any of this stuff. You can do all of this manually. Um, it's just if your budget supports it. And if your budget does support it, I would recommend going through that. But there's other factors that I think I didn't even consider when I went to go implement this texting. Um, there's a learning curve, so you gotta anticipate downtime. All the time that you're spending to implement this new thing into your business is time taken away that you could just be on the dialer or be, following up with your leads. So it's a pretty big give and take game. It's something that you want to consider ahead of time. My phone's out there. This market that I'm calling right now, or the area, it's really hit or miss. Like that woman with the acreage, I really don't think that area will be attractive to an investor. But at the same time, the second deal that I closed is in the same city as that, but she lives on like the country of that city. and the deal that I assigned was in the middle of the neighborhood. So it's really hit or miss over here in this area. It's north of Houston, different county. Houston, for the majority of Houston, lies within Harris County. This list is Montgomery County absentee owners, which is like north of Houston. Got some good follow-up conversations today, though. I'm glad I hopped on the dialer. Could have easily counted one of those follow-ups as a lead. I forget which one of the first conversation that I had. Hey, John.
Yeah.
John, how's it going? This is Derek. Sorry, I know this is a bit random, but I was calling about a property I believe you own on Wilderness Road.
I'm not selling it.
Okay, completely understand. Well, I appreciate you taking the call. That was an out-of-state owner. That guy lived in New Jersey. Now at this point, I think I'm just gonna call through the rest of the list. You know, it seems like my better leads do come from that question, though. Do you have any other properties? It's like that's honestly where the best conversations happen, I think. When you ask that and they say, yeah, you know what? We do, and we have thought about something, you know what I mean? And it's like an aha moment for them, which is the best because then they're so much more open to having that conversation. It's like, I'm glad you asked. You know what I mean? It's like, well, nobody, I'm sure they think, like, nobody calls on that property, but we have thought about selling that one. And it happens way more frequently than you'd think. I will always love dogs. I'm glad that you're hopping on and catching this live because this is the first time I am using this dialer. I ended up honestly just wasting money on that headset. Really quality. I'm glad that I got it because I will use it in the future. But um, the only reason I really got it is because on the onboarding call for this dialer, they said that it was necessary. They said that I needed a wired USB headset. I got this one wireless, and I was like, oh fuck, like. And then I just plugged in the little Bluetooth receiver into my USB, and then it worked. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, it works. And then I realized that it just doesn't make for good content because when I have my headset in, you guys can't hear the sellers. So today, my Saturday dialing session, I figured what better day to try to test and play around with some things. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to hop into a campaign with no headset on and see if it comes through the speakers and see if they can hear me when I talk to my computer. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And it works. So they played me for a fool when they told me that I needed a wired headset. I don't know why they do that. Two different people along the process specifically told me that I needed a headset in order for this to work. And here it is working without a headset. I'm sure it's better, right? I know it's better sound quality because when I have the headset on, I can hear myself talking, and it's
Please leave a message after the tone.
super crispy. Sound quality is off the charts. But honestly, for me, hopping on live streams like this, I would much rather just you guys be able to hear the seller than me coming through clear on the other end. Nobody's gonna hang up on me because of the sound quality. makes a difference at scale, as does everything else, every other aspect of your business. But at this point in time, it really doesn't make that big of a difference. You know what I mean? I'm not contacting enough people for me to really lose out on. I would have to be unlucky to lose out on like a lead or an opportunity because somebody's like, I can hardly hear you. The sound quality's garbage. You know what I mean? They want to sell. They want to sell. It doesn't matter if you're wearing a headset or not. I wouldn't have bought that had they not told me that I needed it. But I had just closed my second deal, had some money, and figured if I'm going to get one, I might as well get a nice one. So I got like state of the art headset that's going to get wasted for the time being. I mean, I'll still use it when I don't go live. It's just pretty rare that I make like a large amount of calls when I'm not on the live session. For the most part, you guys see me doing my work. Aside from like my driving for dollars, some of my lead follow-ups that kind of maybe catch me off guard, or like somebody calls me or I call somebody impromptu after texting. I'll be doing my texting kind of off camera as well, just because you guys can't really see it. Really wanting to get some streaming software though. But first I need to get it. Hey, Dwight.
Yeah.
Dwight, how's it going? This is Derek. Sorry, I know this is a bit random, but I was calling about a property I believe you own out in Conroe on Willis Waukegan Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick call and wanted to see if you would ever consider an offer on your property there. You ever considered selling?
Well, in trouble getting my daughter to sign off on it because we don't get along together. And I went to a lawyer and everything, and I've got issues on it. So it's going to take a while for me to, if I can even sell it.
Okay. So just so I understand correctly, it sounds like you do want to sell, but your daughter doesn't want you to.
Right. And
Oh.
her mother's, my wife passed away. That was her mother, my stepdaughter. And she got all mad at me. She done, I don't know. A lawyer told me that I'd have to get her to sign off on it. Because it wasn't nothing he could do, because it was me and her mother, and we didn't make out a will or nothing.
Yeah.
So it's all up in a war against it right now.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And I'm sorry if this question is a little invasive or intrusive, but I'm just out of curiosity. Does she have any legal claim to the property?
Oh yes.
Okay.
That lawyer said she's got legal claim because she owns probably about a quarter of it.
Oh, okay.
She's got a brother that owns a quarter. He signed off on his, but she won't.
Okay. And are you, in terms of signing off, when you say that, signing off, like kind of giving permission to sell, or
she don't want to? She don't want to sign off. That's what I'm getting at.
Right. And I just mean, what would she be signing off on? Just kind of permission for you to do what you please with the place?
Yeah. So I could sell it.
Gotcha. Okay.
But she don't want to do that.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
It's just going to take me a while.
Yeah. Are you guys like, in court proceedings right now, or has the process started?
No. We're in discussion about it, but
not a productive one.
Won't even talk to
me. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I hear what you're saying, and that we deal with that quite often. It is pretty common. So what I'd like to do, if it's okay with you, again, my name is Derek. My partner and myself, we are looking to pick up a few properties before the end of the year. It sounds like this may not be, one that we'd be able to make an agreement on before the end of the year, but I'd love to stay in contact with you so that maybe when things do get resolved, I can kind of be there.
Well, if I do, I've got several people wants it.
Yeah, I bet.
Right now, but I can't even sell it or nothing else.
Yeah, I hear you.
Until I get her to sign off on it.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, when would you say is kind of a more appropriate time for me to follow up, just to kind of check in with you?
I have no idea.
Okay. Well, if you don't mind,
Sometimes people want it.
y- yeah,
Like
yeah,
I heard, it's just up in a mess right now.
yeah. I hear you. Well, if you don't mind, I'd love to kind of just stay in contact. How about I follow up maybe every 2 to 3 months just to check in?
Well, I'll call you.
Okay, that sounds good.
I got your number on my phone.
Okay, perfect.
Okay,
All right, I appreciate you taking the call, and I'll talk to you soon. All right.
you bet.
All right. Bye now.
Bye.
I hate those type because I really don't have enough knowledge on the court proceedings and that type of stuff. Um, I don't know if it's like I should have went for the agreement anyways, and we can figure all that out in escrow. I think that probably is the case. That's why I asked if like she has a legal claim to it because she's not on the title that I can see. I can see that him and his wife. Oh, that's why she does have a legal claim to it because the wife passed away. So this was something that going through real estate agent or real estate salesperson education, you learn, and it's all about how you take title to the property, what state you're in, and how title gets transferred to your heirs when you pass away. So what's going on, the way that I understand it, is he owned half, his wife owned half, his wife passed away, and now her half ownership got passed to the two kids where they each own a quarter and he owns a half. The son, that's what it sounds like, has signed off on his quarter. The daughter is refusing to sign off on her quarter to pass along full ownership to her father. So that's going to be a battle. She has legal claim to it. What I think would have to happen in this situation is I would have to get in contact with the daughter. I don't know why she doesn't want to sell it though. It depends on what the situation is here. Does she not want to sell it because she wants to live there? Does she not want to sell it because she wants a higher price? That's what I would hope that's what the case is. It's like she's putting up a fuss because for him to sell it, she is under the assumption that he's going to get 100% of the profits, um, which won't be the case, right? So I wonder. That's an interesting one. I'm gonna follow up with him. He said he'll call me, but I'll follow up with him. Follow up. Uh, Wants to sell, but daughter, um, daughter does not want to. He jointly owned the property with his deceased wife, and her ownership passed through to her two kids. The son has signed off on his quarter, giving Dwight the the green light to sell, but the daughter refuses and has gotten attorneys involved. Dwight mentioned that there were a number of people who wanted it, but that he couldn't do anything until this is resolved. Said he would call Derek, but Derek plans to follow up with him in the beginning of next year. Save that note. Follow up, calendar event, create, follow up. Any progress in court proceedings, and based on what it sounds like too, I don't think she even has. I mean, she has a legal claim, but is she really going to take him to court over it? Probably not. She just probably had an attorney send him some type of one-page thing that intimidated him so much that he's not wanting to sell, and it sounded like it worked, right? So call back, be like, yeah, first week of January. Save that. Go not available. Contact made. Follow up there. Yeah, just got a few more people to call through, and then I'm gonna wrap it up here. about 25 people left on the list. Should take me 4 or 5 minutes, depending on how many answers. Hello?
Colson Self Residence.
Hi there. I'm not sure if I have the right number. I'm hoping that you could help me out. I was looking for the owner of a property on East Stony Bridge Court.
The owner of a what?
Of a property on East Stony Bridge Court.
In 1 second here. And where is that located at?
In Spring.
In Spring?
Mhm.
Okay. 1 second here. Turn this volume up. Okay. I'm sorry, I had to turn the volume up. What was the address?
Sure. It's 19 East Stony Bridge Court.
East Stony Bridge?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a private caregiver for a gentleman, so let me call his son to see if he is familiar with that address, and your number popped up on the caller ID. I will give him your number, and I will have him to give you a call.
Okay. If you don't mind, I'd like to actually give you my direct line so that you can get in contact with me that way.
Okay.
If you have a pen and paper.
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. You ready?
Uh-huh.
All right. Perfect. So my name is Derek, Derek, and
Okay.
my direct line is 832.
Okay.
And you can kind of just pass along the information and see if there's any interest in selling that property there. I'm an investor in the area, and we're just kind of calling around to see if some homeowners have any interest in selling their property. So, if there is any interest, feel free to reach out. If there isn't, then no obligation to give me a call back or anything like that.
Okay, not a problem. I will relay the message.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the call.
No problem. Bye-bye.
Bye now. That one's weird, but I just went ahead and marked it not interested, contact made, kind of preemptively, because I don't want to call that back. I don't want to call that property again. That's why I kind of framed it the way I did. If you want to sell, reach out. If not, so be it. They have my name and number now. That's one where I'm cool with just kind of leaving it up in the air because I don't want to bother them. Sounds like it may be a good opportunity though if there. Gosh, that sounds bad of me, but the opportunity does lie in situations where there are death or health issues or just any type of family matters. And in this case, it sounds like possibly either the owner of the property, that's what I would guess is the owner of the property, and he's in bad health, so he has a caregiver there staying with him, and she was going to reach out to his son to see if there was any interest. At first I thought I like caught a work telephone or something like that, but the way she answered was unique, and I actually caught the name that I was looking at, Colson. I don't know if that's the first or last name, but she said Colson Residence. So I was like, okay, this is a house. Hello? 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 All right, boom. Call through that list. I'm going to end it there. Appreciate. I will always love dogs. Tapping in for the live session here. I appreciate you as well if you're checking this out after the fact, after it's released, after the live session. Appreciate you as well. As a reminder, my name is Derek, covering all things virtual wholesaling uh, and wholesaling real estate just in general. But being that I am doing it virtually, I tend to cover topics surrounding the virtual aspect of the business. So if that's the type of content you're interested in, go ahead, hit the like, subscribe, notification bell. Hit that notification bell, especially if you're wanting to join us in these live sessions. All of us would love to have you. Starting to build a little bit of a community here where uh, beginner wholesalers, it seems like, and it sounds like we got some people who have some experience under their belt as well, are starting to connect and bounce ideas, questions off of each other. So we would love to have you. I would love to have you as well. Um, Go live Monday through Friday, at least once a day, covering cold calling, follow up, my list building methods through virtual driving for dollars. If you're looking to get into something like that, I do have a little pre recorded mini series on my channel you can check out. It's my driving for dollar process and how I do it virtually for free, essentially. And what else do I cover? I'm trying to get as much input on type of content that you guys are trying to see, and I really want to reward my early subscribers by tailoring my content specifically to what they're trying to see. So, I've pre-recorded a few videos on comping, something that I'm going to keep up with as well. Try to drop a video in that little series that I have as well, that playlist that I have on my channel. So, if you have PropStream and you're interested to know how I comp my properties using PropStream, go ahead and check that out as well. That's something that I see myself constantly adding to in terms of new videos and any other topics surrounding the business. And again, I really want to tailor the content towards you as my early subscribers. So, again, hit the subscribe button, notification bell. We'd love to have you when I go live Monday through Friday. And as you can see, I go live on Saturdays or weekends every once in a while when I got the time. So, look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, peace.